Violin mastery is achieved when you are able to perform your music by memory. And I actually make it a requirement for all of my students in my violin studio to perform by memory. There are a few reasons for this that I'm going to outline in this video. Number one is that when you practice to perform by memory, you're actually exercising your brain. You're exercising your brains as if it was like any other muscle. A lot of students who hear me say that all performances need to be memorized are a little hesitant at first because they're afraid that they're going to do a slip up. I noticed this in around Suzuki Book 4 or like in that intermediate level. Students start to get a little nervous because the repertoire just gets more advanced, and for good reason. However, I am a firm believer that if you practice by memory, then you're exercising your brain. And by exercising your brain through this memorization process, you're working out your brain as if you're working out any other muscle. And I think it's often overlooked that we spend a lot of attention on physique and trying to, have tone bodies and tone muscles or whatever the case may be, but we forget to train our mind. We forget to train the little memorization details, especially when things are so accessible with technology now. We don't have to memorize things anymore as much as we did 10, 15, 20 years ago. And also, it's just a good way to stay sharp, and it's a good way to stay healthy when you exercise that memorization muscle in your brain. With that said, memorization in violin playing helps improve your listening. I can't tell you how many times I've had lessons with students who close their eyes and they feel they're not confident in memorizing the music, but they actually sound better when they close their eyes, because it's like a fun way to play games with them in the classroom, and they close their eyes and they're able to play flawlessly and in tune. Sometimes our eyes deceive us in various ways, and I think by closing your eyes, trying to memorize music helps improve your listening, so that way you are able to listen for smaller details. You're able to listen for different sound colors, different sound quality. Do you have a scratchy sound? Do you have a like a sur la touche sound over the fingerboard? Those are things to think about while you're practicing memorization and practicing with the listening. And you're able to kind of focus more on the technical aspect when you are memorizing the music. Like once you've memorized the music, you are able to focus on other things. This may be pretty obvious, but music is an oral art, and by actively listening to your playing, you are improving the different elements of your playing. Memorization also builds confidence. When you're on stage and you know the music, it not only makes you feel confident, but it also makes you sound confident. I had a teacher back in my undergrad who always said, you can't play well if you don't feel well. And if you don't feel confident, then you won't sound confident. That's the basic logic, of course. So if you are memorizing your music, you've paid attention to every detail of your playing. You have really taken the extra leap forward to have such a magnificent performance. I'd much rather have students perform by memory and do a few slip-ups than play perfectly with their music. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm playing with the music, I'm either playing in a chamber music group, I'm playing with my duo partner, or I am in an orchestra. Sometimes I'm really in the zone. I close my eyes for a second, and then all of a sudden I can't remember where I am on the page. So that automatically like decreases my confidence when I lose my section on the page. And just having that memorization kind of takes that one thing out of the equation. So those are things to think about when you are memorizing. Now, the question is, how do you memorize your music? Well, you can always start with repetition. Repetition is a really great starting point when you are memorizing your music. However, I want to warn you that repeating just for the sake of repeating does not work in violin playing. You have to have quality repetition. I would much rather have you as a violinist watching this video take maybe a section 10 times, quality performance, quality practice sessions, and then rather than playing it 50 times and kind of just getting over with, just checking it off. I'd much rather have you play it slowly 10 times through, making sure you're getting your intonation right, making sure that you're also in the process of memorizing all those notes. Another overlooked thing that students forget to do is to look at the score while they're listening to the piece. I don't recommend this tactic like in the beginning stages of learning a piece because I want the student to formulate their own idea. However, it is good to kind of grab and pull some ideas from different recordings every now and then once you are at the point of learning all the music, memorizing everything, and you're just trying to look for some musical inspiration. That's okay. I believe, because I do that myself when I'm performing solo repertoire, I kind of look at the score, a score meaning you have the sheet music in front of you while you're listening to a historical recording or a recent recording that was released. So I recommend that. Because that kind of gets the student really just involved with the music, and sometimes another recording could bring out another melody or another dynamic that you otherwise would have missed in the score. So that's another quick tip for you. And this is just a general thing when it comes to memorization, but it's often overlooked because we are in a 24/7 culture, 365 days a year, work. We often forget to get quality sleep. Quality sleep will improve your memory because when we sleep, our brain processes information from the day. Think about it. If you have quality practice in the middle of the day, for instance, and then you have, like, let's say 7 hours of sleep, that's conservative, right? Then you can still get a lot of memorization done because it's all cumulative. If you do that for a period of time, then you are going to have a better chance of memorizing your music. And the whole 3-part learning, as I said before, kinesthetic, visual, oral learning, all of that is taken into account when your brain is processing that information. I say that to my students to help them become better violinists. But if you're looking for more videos on how to become a better violinist, I encourage you to check out the channel, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, but also check out these videos over here so that you can become a better violinist.